Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Let's Get Social Live. Happy Friday. These Fridays come along so quickly. Today we're going to be focused on Simplicity 9368. Again, this is part of the Black Swan Network's beginner series where we're focusing on beginner patterns, things that are fairly or patterns that are fairly easy or simple, but also gives new beginners an opportunity to sew along with us, ask questions as they're sewing. So if you are sewing, drop something in the chat. Let me know that you're sewing along with me, so that way I can keep an eye out for any comments that you might make. And also just make sure that if you have any questions, I can answer them. Hey, Black Sewing Network. Hey, Carmen. So yeah, definitely, drop something in the chat. This is going to be a fairly simple, pattern. And again, probably really quick in terms of a sew along. So I am going to be doing some additional steps that I normally would do offline, like serge. So I did pull out my serger, which this is the first time I pulled it out, I guess. I don't know, sometime this week. And it's the first time that I pulled it out in since August. So I won my sewing machine that I have down here that I'm going to be using to sew. I won that at the Baltimore Fractales last August, and I literally put away my big dogs. I put away all my Berninas, and I've been sewing on that solely for the since August. So I pulled out my serger the other day because I had a fabric that would fray, and I was like, as much as I don't feel like pulling all those machines out again, that's going to be the thing that's going to have the cleanest, best look. So I pulled out my serger. So today, as a part of this pattern, I'm actually going to start by serging the primary fabric piece. So I have this awesome fabric that I had purchased a little while ago, and I wanted to use this fabric to make the skirt that we made last week. And I realized I did not have enough fabric to do the overlay piece to the skirt. So I cut out all the pieces, and then I went to Joann's looking for this fabric because, again, I really like houndstooth fabric like a ton. I like it. It's probably one of my favorite prints, for one, because it's black and white, and black is like one of my favorite colors. And so, even though houndstooth comes in a bunch of other colors, but the primary one that you typically see is black and white. And so when I saw this, I bought what they had, and I just kind of kept it tucked away, and then decided to use it last week, but I did not have enough. So I had some extra. And so literally this winter mask is great for a scrap, scrap fabric. So I literally cut the mask in this. In addition to that, I actually also cut the hat, 90% of the hat, because I had enough to kind of pull together pieces to make the main parts of the hat. So let me see, what did I cut with the hat? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so I did also cut the hat. So I might end up serging some of that too, again, depending on how quickly that we, get through this. Because like I said, it's really a quick and easy, pattern. So if you're sewing along, let me know. And if you're sewing something else, let me know that too. I'm interested to see what are y'all working on this weekend. I know it's no matter where you are, it's a lot of weather stuff going on. Definitely sending prayers up to the people that are on the West Coast in California. I've been hearing a lot about the fires that have been going on, and I did watch a little bit of the news last night. Listen to a little bit of the news last night, and I just heard that, it's not, unfortunately, it wasn't good news, what I had heard. So definitely sending prayers up to those people, because I can't even imagine how devastating it can be to lose everything that you have unexpectedly. And although, a lot of it is material, although unfortunately have been some, life loss as well. But even if you're in a position where you haven't had life loss, you just, everything is not replaceable, even if it is, a material thing, because yeah. So anyway, definitely sending prayers up to those. Hey, Kay, thank you so much, Carmen or Black Swan Network, for your support. Again, I really always appreciate all of the super chats and super gifts that you are throwing up there. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody who is also joining on TikTok. Thank you for the likes, because they often let people know that we are on. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so I am also, let me just throw this out there too. So I am also streaming live on Twitch for the first time as well today. So I know I got people like everywhere. Yes, I am. I'm streaming on Twitch right now live. So I'm streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and I'm also streaming on TikTok as well. So, hey, Ray made it. Thank you. I got my first Twitch follower logging on. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So my name is Let's Get Social on Twitch. So for those that are on Twitch, it is Let's Get Social on Twitch. That is my handle over there. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of see like what it looks like, what the view is over there, how it looks compared to the other platforms. Oh, you see me? Okay, Ray and Carmen, let me know. Like, how does it look over there? Let's see. Ray made it. Are you Ray's Creations on TikTok? Is that the same are you the same person? You said it looks the same as YouTube. Okay. You said, I love this view. Okay, awesome. I love to hear it. Love to hear it. That's so cool. I forgot to tell my son that I'm on. Oh, that is you. Okay, good. I'm gonna make sure I'm following you on both platforms. So yeah, so all I'm doing right now is I am serging this fabric, because this fabric like frays a lot. And so for any beginner sewist, serging is a option that you have to eliminate fabric from fraying. It is a special type of sewing machine that you would use. Alternatives to that, to serging, would be using pinking shears. And so maybe I'll pull my pinking shears out next week and just kind of show like what that option is. Sometimes, you know what, to be honest with you, as much as I'm serging it is not a long process. Sometimes it's easier and sometimes quicker to just use those pinking shears. So yeah, sometimes I think about that, like, and I pull them out because I'm like, And probably this project would have been a good one for the pinking shears, but I just already had my serger out. I had never put it away from a couple of days ago. So in fact, what you see, if you can see back there, that skirt, there's like that jean part, of the blue part, which is made of jean. That is the Harmony belt. So that is Aisha's belt. I made it really quick. She was on live on Tuesday, and it literally was a quick sew, but I decided to make it in a shortened version because I want to make it out of leather. And so I was just kind of like trying it out to see. So that's something that we're actually going to be making during Black History Month, but I wanted to kind of try it out. I'm actually in the process of making another one because that one has like a button snap. But I want to make it, I think I want to make the belt in with a zipper instead. So I want to try it out before we get on live, just to get a feel for like, okay, how is this going to work? But I really like it. I'll put it on just so y'all can get a little sneak peek over top of this dress that I have on today. It is definitely super cute. And I like the shortened one because, again, I'm wearing it as a belt. I like a short belt, and so I'm excited to see how the leather one will be. Oh goodness, no. And let me see. How do I block? I need to have some moderators. How do I block this person? So it's always good to have a moderator. Hey, everybody on TikTok, drop in the chat what y'all are sewing. Anybody sewing anything this weekend? What are y'all working on? Oh my goodness. So whenever you get on a new platform, you always got to figure out, oh, I need to set up my categories on Twitch and make you a moderator. Yeah, so I will do that as soon as, maybe I could do it right now. Is it a quick thing? Because clearly I need, oh my goodness. Yeah, clearly I need a moderator. Let's see. Stream manager, maybe that's it. No. Okay, well I did that really quick. Lord. Right. I got rid of that person. I banned them. So this just reminded me, like, one of my girlfriends, who I hope she hops on here. I'm so sad she reached out to me. I think it was on Tuesday, and asked me if I could make her daughter's prom dress. She'd probably kill me if she knew I was saying this. And as y'all know, I've only ever sewed for myself. But I told her I would call her back. I'm like, let's talk about it. That was crazy. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. So I need to set up my moderator. Let me see if I think I could delete those comments. If I know how to get out of this. Let's see. Oh, it deleted it already. Okay. Once you ban them, I guess it goes in and deletes the comments. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so I have serged these two pieces. These are my the outer mask. The inner mask, I'm actually using some, what is this fabric? Flannel. It's like the flannel like fabric, so it doesn't fray. I did put it up against my face just to make sure, like, I don't want to suffocate myself, to make sure I could breathe. I did also intentionally choose black because I do wear a lot of makeup, and I didn't want to use this on the inside because I thought, oh, it's going to be a mess. I'll be throwing this in the wash machine all the time. And I do plan to wear it outside. So this is not just like this is not a mask, just for the record. I'm not making it for the purposes of, like, you know, kind of protecting yourself from, although I'm sure it could serve that purpose in a small way, protecting yourself from like germs. This is more of a winter mask, like a fashion mask, but also to keep your face warm. So that is my goal in making this mask, which is why I chose these fabrics. So this flannel-like fabric is going to be the lining, and then this will be the outside. So with that, I am going to swap over to the regular sewing machine. This thing is heavy. Ow. I've gotten so used to this light one. I'm like, this thing is super light. I forgot how easy it is to sew with this. I mean, to lift it. All right, So let me just plug this in. All right. So I have my B38. So this is my regular Bernat sewing machine that I'm going to use. And this, all we're using for this is literally one pattern piece number 1. In your pattern, you will notice that you have 3 of these. You have a large, a medium, and a small. I cut the large. It is based on your face measurement or your head measurement. And so my head measurement was 22.5. A medium was 22, a large was 23. And so I cut a large for this mask. The mask, they do have like a mask that you can, I guess you can make it with any of the hats. Like I said, I did end up cutting out this hat as well. But the goal was really to make this mask. And I should have realized that it was fairly simple. It is, really simple. Like the serging is probably the longest part of it. The longest part of it. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is, let's go back to the instructions. We are going to stitch the front seam, but before I do that, let me just make sure, since I serged, I need to just do markings instead of notches to make sure, because obviously when you serge your edges, then any little cuts that you put in the edge become really difficult to find. So one of the for new sewers, one advice that I would give is that if you're going to serge your edges, instead of cutting, to just go ahead and take a piece of chalk and make a little marking. That will make it much easier for you to find like your notches, which you will need to know where you're going to connect. So I'm just taking, and I got this bright orange, so I'm just making little marks. And although I'm using chalk, you could totally use a pen, because this is going to be it. These notches are going to be in your seam allowance. You will not be seeing them at all. And I'm making it on both sides. And so you can't really see it because it's really little, but basically I made it right here, 1, 2, and then I made it the same thing on the other side, 1, 2. Okay, and those are the only 2 notches, and then I'm doing the same thing on my lining pieces. I'm just going to line them up. Making sure that they're right sides facing. And then I'm just going to make those 2 little notches again, so I know where to line things up. So you can see them really well on this. And then the same thing on the other side. So I got my notches in there. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch the frontal seam of the mask, which is this part of the mask. So right sides facing. This is pretty much the same on both sides, but I'm picking the side I like the best. Right sides facing each other. And then I'm literally going to do a stitch right down this front seam. Okay, here we go. And I'm doing 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Oh, except for it tells us that actually in this mask, it wants us to do 1/4. So typical seam allowance, again, for beginner sewers is 5/8 of an inch, unless it says something different. And in this case, it actually does tell us that they want us to sew the seam allowance in 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. So it is literally right at the edge is what we're doing. All right, here we go. So it's like, in my case, it's a little easier to find it because it's, since I serge, it's like right on the other side of that serging um, thread. So I'm just going really slow to make sure I don't do what I think I did what I just didn't want to do, which is go too close to the edge. We'll see when I flip it. And I'm gonna do a little back stitch. And I'm just gonna double check this to make sure that, oh, look at this. So this is one little thing I saw I did. This is what happens when you use scrap sometimes. So the fabric is going in different directions. So not a big deal, but it is something that I didn't realize until just now. And part of that, again, because I'm using scrap, so I just used fabric that I had left over to cut each one of these out. They just happen to be in different directions. One is going across, one is going up and down. Not a big deal, but if I had more, I would probably recut it, but I don't have any more fabric. So it is what it is. That's the other thing, again, just to be mindful of, is that when you are using what we call directional fabric like this, that's an extra thing that you want to make sure that you're paying attention to, which is the direction of the fabric. So just something else to keep in mind. Not a big deal, but I definitely think the mask would have looked better if it would have all been going in the same direction. And I actually think I had, when I initially cut it, I had enough fabric to do that for both. I just didn't pay attention to the direction. So I got what I got. So again, I'm doing the same thing. Let me just make sure I'm supposed to do this on both the facing and the lining. I think I am. Yes. Okay. So I am just repeating the same step that I did on the fabric to the lining, which is stitch down the center seam at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Hey, Monica. Hi, Helen. Happy New Year. And I'm just going to go backwards a little bit. Back stitch. Again, that back stitch just makes it so that it does not come out. So that looks really good. So this will be the inside of my mask. Look, I might end up making this the outside. Just kidding. I will not. I will not. So I can have makeup all over this. You see this lipstick, even though this lipstick is lipstick that doesn't come off, my makeup is not. It's not that. Okay, so next step. So we stitch the center front seam. Then we're going to stitch the center front seam of the mask lining, which we did with right sides together. We're going to pin the lining to the mask along the upper edge. So this is now right side. So our wrong side is our side that's going to have all of our seam. Our right side is our side that's not. And we are doing right sides together. So we are going to basically pin or clip our right sides. And we are just, it looks like we are pinning the lining to the mask along the upper edge. And then we're going to match the seams and have the raw edges even. And we are going to stitch. And let me see, are we stitching around the uh-oh. Pin lining to the mask along the upper edge. Oh yeah, okay. So around the top edge. So I got the lining on the inside, the actual fabric on the outside. I'm starting with the center and lining up the center seams. And I think I'm also going to use pins as well. Hey Dee, how are you doing? How are you? Thank you, Amanda, for the gift. I'm doing good. No complaints. Hi, Miss Alethea. I saw your post earlier today. All of that snow that you all got down there, that unexpected snow, which is headed up here. Somebody that I work with, they are in Tennessee, and they say they got 9 inches. I heard that Atlanta got 5 inches of unexpected snow. Thank you so much, Miss Alethea. I appreciate you so much for your support. Dee, you said I can't stand this cold weather. Look, that's what made me, when I saw this mask, I was like, yes, because I've been outside. I've been going outside every day. I was outside last night, and it was cold. I could have used this mask last night. I'm not lying. It was the wind. The wind was blowing, and I was like, okay, this is going to keep me warm, and I'm going to be looking super cute. So, and as easy as this is, I think I'm going to probably make another one in a different fabric. I'm just trying, I need to go through my fabrics again. The problem that I have now that my fabric is all packed away, I forget what I have. So, and I'm trying so hard to not buy anything. But when I see this little cute mask on this lady, I'm like, oh my goodness, it makes me want to go to the store and buy some more fabric. Because I totally love that whole color combo and pattern combination. I was like, yes, I need that. But then, you know what? I found something else that I had bought. I don't know what I bought this for. It was, if I remember correctly, I think it was probably on sale. So I have a black, all black, long length coat. And if I made it, that's the only thing I would be able to wear if I made it out of that other fabric that I found. Okay, so I have pinned everything across the upper edge, and at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, I'm going to stitch across the top. So here we go. You said it was unexpected. Yeah, that's what I heard. It was unexpected. Well, they've been talking about this snow that we're going to get here. And I've been super tuned in because, of course, I'm really focused on football right now. And my team is playing, and I do not want it to snow just because, of course, they almost never play on Saturday. And, of course, that's the day it's going to snow. So I'm feeling a way about it, but I've been watching. And then my daughter's birthday is tomorrow, so I'm sure she is not happy that it's going to snow because it's probably going to mess with her plans, even though they're saying we're only supposed to get 1 to 3 inches. But, you know, Tennessee, that same storm that gave Atlanta 5 inches and Tennessee 9 is on its way up here. So it seems like it's just getting more and more snow as it goes up north. But I keep an eye on it. It still said, when I looked a couple hours ago, it's still saying 1 to 3 inches. So hopefully that'll be it. So again, at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, I am literally just sewing along the top. Hi, Miss Tata. What are you sewing this weekend? So I have made it to the end, and I'm just going to do a quick little back stitch. Okay, so I have literally sewed. Again, what you're looking at is the wrong side. The right side is are facing each other. Decline. The right sides are facing each other. So far, it's looking really good, even with the fabric, that my printed fabric not matching, or not the and you know what's so crazy? This, it tells you to also, I didn't mention this initially, but you have to cut this mask on the bias. And so I feel like that's part of the reason why I think I was just like finagling it, and I didn't pay attention that, oh, you have this other one. But it didn't look like, when you look at it this way, it doesn't look like they are in different directions, but they definitely are. They definitely are different directions. You can see it really well from this way, that they're in different directions. But anyway, the outside is still, the wrong side is still on the outside. The right side is still facing each other. And so the next thing we're going to do is, with right sides together, we're going to stitch the lower edge. So again, I'm going to pin. So now we're going to literally stitch this bottom part right here. So I'm going to, once again, pin these together just to make sure everything stays lined up. That's even more important to do because these fabrics are not the same. One is like a light wool and the other one is like a flannel. And so while they have similar, I guess, stretch, and they have similar thickness, sometimes when you're using two different fabrics, that's not the case. And so you want to make sure that they stay lined up. I'm also opening up, even though it's a small seam allowance, I'm also opening up my seam allowance just to make sure there's no bulk when I sew over it. Yeah. You said, I'm into the 3rd week with the flu. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not sewing it all. Well, I hope you feel better soon, because the flu is nothing to play with. I haven't had the flu in a while, but the last time I had it, I did end up in the hospital. So I don't wish that on anybody. I was so dehydrated. So just drink plenty of water. Eat as much as you can, because I know you don't really have an appetite. So soup and crackers, and drink a lot of water. I hope you feel better too. And you, like, I'm in the 3rd week. Has anyone in Maryland went to the Joann store that's closing? So that's the Owings Mills Joann store that's closing. I used to go there all the time. I have not been there since they announced that it's closing. But I know people are tracking it to see like what's on sale when. I'm telling you, I'm conflicted, because I'm always like, if I go in there, I might buy all this stuff I don't need, and just because it's on sale. So I haven't been in there. Have you been there yet? I have not been. Part of me, look, I should have went looking for this fabric that I was looking for, because they probably had it. They probably had it. You said those liquidation sales will have you spending hundreds. I know. Look, Miss Jacqueline, if you go, you let us know what's in there. Let us know whether we should go or not. Hey, Anna. Welcome. Happy Friday. You say you got some nice stuff, so Lucky Brand jean material, but what? For $33? Okay, see, that's why I'm not going, because I know me. I would have spent, like you said, Miss Tata said, hundreds. But that's a good deal. It's, look, you spend hundreds because it's such a good deal. You know what? They just opened the one, Amanda. They just opened the one in Columbia. I feel like it just opened last year. That's one of those super stores. I mean, is anybody got the scoop? Anybody know? Is Joann's like closing down? If they close the one in Columbia, then that will be a sign to me, because that's one of those super stores with the sewing machines and the teaching center and all of that in there. You said you're going to do a video later. Well, I'll make sure I look at your video, because I want to see what you got. I do like that Lucky jean material. In fact, this is that Lucky jean, that stretch jean. You see, I don't know if you can see it from here. I'm not going to take it off my dress form, but this is that stretch. It's that stretch Lucky jean. This is exactly what that is. And I did it in two different. I did a darker jean in the back, which is also stretch, but it's not that Lucky jean stretch. This is that, and I love that fabric. I made several things. This was some scraps that I had, because again, it's so good that I didn't want to throw it away. You said the store itself is a mess, though. Nothing on the shelves, but tons of boxes in the aisles. You know what I think? It's always been, you talk about the one in Columbia. It has always been that way since the very first time that I went in there. And the feeling that I got was that, the feeling that I got about that one is that they don't have enough workers. Like, I guess almost all Joann's, I get that feeling. But this is the one. And I thought, oh, maybe because they just opened or it's still new, that's why. But I felt that way when I was looking for patterns. I was like, all the patterns were like in boxes. I was like, okay, this what we doing? We just putting the patterns in boxes like that? That's what it was. Okay, so, all right, now we stitched the top and the bottom. Right sides are still facing each other. And so, let's see. Now it is telling us so we stitched the upper edge, we stitched the lower edge. We're going to turn the lining to the inside. So I'm about to turn this right side out. That's what I'm about to do. You said once Hancock got into his final weeks, we didn't cut fabric. It was by the bolt only. Oh, okay. The stores tons of boxes in the aisle. Yeah, I would imagine they just getting rid of stuff. But you'll have to let me know if the one in Columbia does end up, liquidating, because that will definitely be a telltale sign, because and I wonder what they're going to do with all those fancy sewing machines they have in there. Like, I'm talking about the Joann's in Columbia. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm about to press my mask. Again, I cut the large, and I'm kind of glad I did, because I feel like this is the large. Just if you want to get a feel for how it might look. So they have a small, which in my opinion is probably a kids or a toddler, medium, because I don't think I have a big face. I mean, my face, like I said, my head is 22.5 inches. So thank you, Miss Tata. But yeah, this is a large. So if you have a big head, I think they have an extra large, if I remember correctly. Small, medium, extra large, I think. So You know, between this and the hat, you definitely will be warm, especially in this fabric. Just putting it over my face, I feel very warm. But I can breathe okay, no problems, even with the other piece on. I definitely would not put anything in between because you will have some trouble breathing. So I'm going to press this. I'm about to plug in my iron. We're going to press this. Okay, so again, for those that are joining, we are doing Simplicity 9368, and we are making View B the mask only. Is what we are focused on right now. And I am about to press it out before we go to the next step. And before we do that, I am going to, let me just get my mat. And let me just give a little bit of water. Hey, Shamir. So the matching hat that I will make with this, oops, I went way over, is also, again, made out of the same color, the black, same fabric, same color. I did have to end up using a little bit of a different color because I did run out of fabric. Oh, shoot, this thing gets so hot. Okay, so I'm just going to press this. You know what? I don't even remember if I can press that. No, so I'm just going to do it on this side. There we go. And that'll be helpful before we do. I wonder if they have us. Oh yeah, so they do want us to put like a top stitch in all the way around. So I'm gonna do this. Is it? It says, let's see, turn under. Oh no, that's on the edges. I'm sorry. But part of me wants to do a top stitch too, just to make sure it all stays the way it's supposed to. And again, I'm just pressing this to lay everything flat. Then I'm just going to do one press this way. I really like this a lot. I'm sad that I didn't match up this fabric to go in the same direction. I'm sad because it looks really good. Look at that. Boom. One going that way, one going that way. But it still looks really good. Okay. One more steam. There we go. Do y'all see all that steam coming out of this iron? I'm telling you. This iron is awesome. So just moving that down. And move my little cords out the way. And our next step is, again, we're going to just do a stitch at the edge of each piece right here. 1 and 2. Let me just make sure it says, let's see, at the end of each mask, it says turn end of each mask to the inside along the fold line. Oh, okay, so we're going to turn it in. And let me just see, where's my pattern piece? So you do have what they call a fold line at the end. So here it is right here. There we go. There it is right there. There it is right there. And so it's telling you to fold it in. And I need to mark mine. So I'm just going to take my little chalk pen and I'm going to mark top and the bottom. Let me see, how much is that? It is about 3/4 of an inch. Sometimes it's easier just to measure it out and then draw the line. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right, one side down, do the other side. All right, I've just made a marking on each end. Tell me where I need to fold it in. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Jacqueline, for the gifts. I appreciate it. Hi, Janine. Okay, so let me just read this again to make sure. Turn the lighting to the inside. Press. We did that. Turn each end of the mask to the inside along the fold line and turn under 1/4 inch on the raw edge. So turn it to the inside. Let's see, this is piece number 4. Oh, they say turn it to the inside like this. And then turn it under 1/4 inch. So you're basically kind of folding it under and then folding it again so that the raw edge is tucked underneath. That is what it is telling us to do. Basically kind of to create a casing. That's what it is telling us to do. So I almost want to press this down. So I'm going to press it again just to make it stay. You don't have to do this, but I just feel like it'll make it easier. Just make sure you don't burn yourself. So I'm just taking that raw edge and I'm folding it and pressing it down, because then the next thing I'm going to do is fold it again so that it's tucked under. Just like that. And I'm going to actually clip this in place just so it stays until I get ready to sew it. And that, you know, one of the things that'll make that stay even more is, so this is what I'm doing. So you'll see that this is like the raw edge is tucked under. Can you see that? And I just have these clips holding it in place because I'm going to eventually sew across. And then I'm doing the same thing on this side. I'm just folding in that raw edge. So it just lays super flat. Once I put that iron to it, it's laying super flat. And then I am going to fold it again, and I'm actually going to press it again just because this makes it stay. And we're creating this casing so that we could slide through our elastic. So there we go. And I'm literally going to again just clip it till it cools off. That'll help it stay. So same thing on both sides. Let's move this out the way. And I do have, while I'm waiting for that to cool off, I'm just going to pull out my elastic. So this mask actually has us use elastic to create the loops that go around your ears. And it tells you to basically cut 2 pieces of elastic long enough to fit through the casing and around the ears, plus add 2 inches. So I have this 1/4 inch elastic. So I need it long enough to fit through the casing, which is, I'm measuring it based on the casing. And then I'm going to add 2 inches. So that's, let me see, what is that? So my casing is 2.5 inches long. And then I'm going to add 2 inches. So that's 4.5 inches long, which gets me right here. And then I need it to be able to go around my ear as well. So I'm going to add probably another inch, because I would like it to come like right here. So what is that? So that is 6.5. I have a little measuring tape down here, just if you want to know. So that is 6. So that's going to be 8 inches. 8 inches is what it's going to be. So where's my ruler? So I'm going to cut 8 inches. Let me do 8.5. I'm going to cut another piece. He said, we all need to wear masks out. I'm still suffering from the effects of walking pneumonia. Look, these masks definitely help us, even though this mask is not, technically like a medical mask. What we know just from the pandemic is that people wearing all kinds of masks was very helpful. It definitely helped. Again, it's not the same as wearing a N95, but it gives you some protection. It gives you some protection. I've been seeing a lot more people wearing masks. So I got my 2 little pieces. And one of the things I think I'm going to do is, so when it doesn't tell you to do it this way. But one of the things that I'm going to do, let's see. Oh, it wants me to do it again. There we go. I was like, yeah, you got to get it perfect. Okay. Is it wants you to sew this across first and then put your elastic through. I actually want to put my elastic through first. And then sew it. I feel like it'll be easier. And once I sew it together, my ends together, then I'm going to maneuver it so that the sewn edge is in underneath. But I think it's going to be easier to put the elastic through than trying to like put it through after the fact. So I put my elastic in, and I'm just clipping this end because I'm about to put it through the sewing machine just to sew those edges down, the edges of the ends and part down. And I'll show it to you after I finish. Again, I'm making sure that my elastic is in the end because I do not want it to get caught up when I'm sewing it. And then, so let me start at this edge then. And again, I'm just making sure that that raw edge is completely tucked under there. So I don't want no problems. All right, I got everything tucked under there pretty good. And now I'm just putting it under the sewing machine to sew it down in a straight line. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. It's working. It's working for me. And once I get to the end, I'm doing a back stitch and going back forward. There we go. And it looks pretty good. Look at that. That's one side. Here's the other side. And I have my elastic in there and I can fully move it. Let me show you. Look. Boom. And boom. So I just need to do the other side. And again, I'm going to do the same thing, which is, if I can get my clip off, I'm going to put my piece of elastic through. And then I'm going to fold it over. So here we go, just so you can see. Here's my end. My raw edge is folded underneath. And I am putting my elastic, and then I'm folding. Here we go. Raw edge, folded down, put my elastic in, and then I'm folding it in, kind of sandwiching it in there. And once I got it sandwiched in there, then I'm going to stitch that strip down. I mean, that little edge down, making sure that the complete raw edge is in there because I don't want any of that raw edge open. And also making sure that my elastic is at the edge because I also don't want to accidentally sew over my elastic. So I am now, let me just, there we go, and just making sure my, there we go. Now it's talking to me. Again, I'm just making sure I'm taking my time and sewing this to make sure that my raw edge is fully in there. And you know what would have been also a good thing is to serge that raw edge. That would have probably been really helpful because it would have helped it lay flat. And again, when I get to the end, I am doing a back stitch, going forward, and I'll probably do another back stitch and go forward. There we go. All right, Jacqueline, thank you. See you when you get back. Okay, so here is another one where I have finished the other side. Again, my elastic is fully movable. This is the inside, and here is the outside. And so now the next step is to, let me just turn this around. I don't know exactly. Maybe I don't want to turn it around. All right, there we go. Next step is to just overlap this elastic at the ends and then stitch over top of the overlapping elastic. And then I'm going to literally pull it into the section that I just sewed so that you don't see that stitching. Let me just cut this little piece off. There we go. So I'm just overlapping them. Let me just show. Overlapping them like that, and then I'm going to stitch back and forth. So here we go. The edges, I'm just going to overlap over top of each other just a little bit, and then I'm going to stitch. And it can be a little tricky because it's such a narrow area. Like this is 1/4 of an inch, and you can't really use pins, so you kind of have to hold it with your hands and stitch like back and forth. But it is doable. So I'm just, kind of maneuvering it now. And then I just use my backward button to go back and forth a couple times. Over that overlapped piece. And again, it's not the easiest, but once you get it under there the right way, then it is easier. And so here you go. If you could see that, it is kind of overlapped. And it doesn't look perfect, but it doesn't need to, because guess what? I'm literally going to pull it into the mask, into this part. And so you don't even see the edge that's sewn together because I just pulled it in. So you don't even see it. So there we go. Now I just have one more to do. So I'm going to literally do the same thing, which is take these edges, overlap them, sew across those edges, and then I'm just going to maneuver it right inside. And I only overlap it a small amount, like maybe a 1/2 of an inch at the most. I like do the bare minimum that I need to do. And then I just go back and forth like 3 or 4 times. And then I do that in a couple different areas, just to make sure, like, okay. I got a good little section. There we go. So it's, you can see that. You can see it's overlapped. Again, it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be because you're not going to see it. I'm moving it around inside. And with that, there is your mask. And so, again, this is the large. So I got it. It's pretty good. And I don't feel like it's like right up against. So if I had on makeup, again, this lipstick is, what do you call it? It doesn't come off. Hey, Jacqueline. Yes, they do. So I am going to make the bucket hat because I did cut everything out for the bucket hat. I got it here. I'm going to make it. It wasn't part of our sew along today because I hadn't made it before, so I didn't really know like what's all going to be involved in it because I didn't look at it ahead of time, but I did cut it out. I definitely did cut out, and I'm definitely going to sew it. Probably what I'm going to do right now, first steps is to serge. I'm sorry, I got this mask on, so you right in here. Is to start by serging it. So I may stay on a little bit longer just to serge because, again, we're at an hour and I'm completely done. But let me go get my coat because, again, I want you all to get a real feel for how it's going to look. So let me just get my coat really quick. Okay, so this is how it would be, like out in the cold with my little mask on. I already feel, with my scarf, I'm not gonna put everything on because I'll be super hot, but I feel like this is definitely, with my gloves on, my mask, and if I finish this bucket hat, put my little hat on, and all you would see is my little eyes. I would definitely be, I got my gloves. Let me see, I think I have my gloves out. I need some more of this fabric. I definitely do. I'm dying right now, just so y'all know, because my house is like at 1,000,000 degrees. But yeah, so I need these are plaid, not houndstooth. Well, is it? Yes, it is. It's a houndstooth in there. So this is like, but I really need gloves to match this. Black on the inside, this on the outside. So cute, right? Like warm and cute and protected. So yeah, this is definitely keeping you warm for sure. So it's a light. This houndstooth is a wool, and the inside is made out of a flannel. So yeah, so that is like it is a super cute mask. So let me show you this also. This is one of the patterns that we're going to be doing in February for Black History Month, but I just want to show you since I kind of made a mock of it. So I have it, I'm making it like a belt. I may even make it just a tad bit shorter, but I did a button on it, and I think what I'm going to do is actually do a zipper, but I'm doing it in a leather, so like a leather little belt, and I might just make it just maybe like a teeny bit. So let me just get closer so you can see it. I just serged the edges of this. I did not like fold them under because again, I was just trying to get a feel for what adjustments I needed to make to the pattern. And then again, I did like a little snap, and I think I'm gonna do a zipper. So have it just zip, especially since it's gonna be leather. I feel like it'll be easier. So I'm gonna do a mock-up one. I got some leather that I feel like, okay, I'm gonna play around and do a mock-up one with the zipper since I think I have this. But yeah, this is again, just did this with some scrap fabrics, just trying to get a feel for how short I needed to make it to get away with like a belt, as opposed to, if you are familiar with Aisha's pattern, it goes down, it's long in the back. And I wanted to do something just like a little belt to wear like over a dress like I have on now, or a skirt, kind of like a peplum belt. Um, but I want to make it out of leather. So this is that. I just wanted to kind of show y'all what that looks like while I have you. I just wanted to show y'all so y'all can have that to look forward to for Black History Month. Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna be doing. You said leather working is scary. Look, I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. That's why I'm doing these little samples. So because you're right, like you can't make any mistakes. Hey Terrence. Hey. Thank you for joining on my Twitch. Thank you. So here is what we made today. We made us a little mask. And I call it a winter mask because it's not, necessarily like a medical mask, but it definitely will give you some protections, but not the same level of protection, like I said, like that an N95 would give you. And so this is Simplicity 9368. Here's the pattern if you are looking to get it. It is very easy. I mean, we took an hour to make it, but it is not an hour pattern. Let me tell you, you could probably do it in 30 minutes. Easily in 30 minutes. I thought about making one in jean as well. I think it would be really cute in a jean fabric. If you have a jean jacket, or whatever, but I made this specifically because what I had scrapped too, I knew it would go with my black wool coat that I have. So yeah, that is why I chose to make it this. I have a leopard coat. So I might try to make an all black one to go with my leopard coat because I wear that a lot. It has the fur on it, and I wear that coat a lot because I like the fur around it. It keeps me warm. Yeah, I really like it. So we are literally done this pattern. What I'm gonna do now, like I mentioned earlier, I did cut the hat pieces. I cut everything for the hat. And so I think, but I need to serge all these pieces. So I think what I'm going to do, and not only do I need to serge, I had to piecemeal pieces together. So the brim is going to be this houndstooth and the flannel mixed together. So that's going to be interesting to see what that looks like. Thank y'all for the compliments on the mask. You say you love the coat. So I got this coat probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I went on a trip for work. Maybe it's longer than that because now I'm trying to think, the pandemic does kind of crazy things. And this was before the pandemic. So pandemic was 4 years ago. So let's say it was 6, 7 years ago. I went to New Mexico. And in my mind, hey D, in my mind, New Mexico is warm. Like, I did not have any idea that it snows in New Mexico and that they have like a winter in New Mexico because I was not ready. Okay. So I had to go buy a coat. And I don't know where we went, but was I in New Mexico? Yes, I was in New Mexico. We went into a Macy's and I paid so I bought this coat. I don't know if I should say this, but I bought this coat because I was going to return it when I got home because they said, oh, you can return it anywhere. And I have tons of coats at home. And I was going to return it, but then I liked it so much. I was like, oh, it fits my body because it has, I don't know if you can see it, but it does have kind of has a little bit of creates a little silhouette. And I was like, oh, this coat is everything. But it was more money than I wanted to spend because, Macy's is expensive to me anyway. And I was like, they are, they doing the most out here. But I ended up keeping it. So I ended up keeping it and I did like it. So So I got it from Macy's. That was a long story to say. I got it from Macy's. All right, so what I'm about to do right now is I am about to I'm gonna start working on this hat. Even though the hat was not part of the sew along, so I'm gonna start working on it just a little bit because I know there's other people you want to visit other people on their lives. Because I know other people sew on Fridays too. So we're gonna just put some part of this together. I do have a question for everybody. Have you worked with this? What is it called? It's called buckram. How heavy do you think the hat will be? I like mine weighted so I don't forget it's there. Look, I think, well, I don't know that it's going to be super heavy, but I am going to be adding this interfacing. It's called buckram, and it's pretty, this stuff is like, it's crunchy. So I'm imagining that it will add a little bit of weight. The other thing is that the brim of the hat, you have multiple layers. It's literally like you had to make two, and then I'm lining both of those pieces. So it's gonna have, I think it's gonna have a little bit of weight to it. I definitely think it's gonna have a little bit of weight. I will definitely let you know 100% for sure by the time we're done. You said, oh, I used that material to make a purse for my sister. Yeah, so it said, it said that I needed this for, to make this hat. So I'm like, okay. And it's crunchy. I mean, it's definitely, it's sturdy. So I've never worked with it before. So the question that I have is, and I don't know, the instructions may tell us to do it. You say you use it to make you said it will give it shape. Yeah. What I don't know, and maybe the instructions will say, is am I supposed to like use this spray to like spray it to the fabric, or am I supposed to sew it on? That's what I don't know. Hi, Vanetta. I don't know if I'm supposed to use it, like how I'm supposed to use the buckram. How am I supposed to attach it? That's my question. If anybody knows the answer to that, I would really appreciate it, because I do not know how I'm supposed to attach this interfacing. And it's not, it's either going to have the spray, or it's going to have to, hi, Armina. Welcome. So it's either going to have the spray. You said there are some adhesive ones where you iron it on. I don't know about the one you have. Yeah, the one that I have, it is not an iron-on one. So, because it doesn't have that adhesive on it. So, it feels too, I don't know. I guess my sewing machine can sew through it. But I also have the spray. So I could spray it and let it stick on that way. That's one way that I could. So what I'm doing right now is I am literally sewing up both of these pieces to make one piece, because I ran out of fabric. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you. Yes, please follow. If you're on Twitch, please follow me on Twitch. I would love that. I am going to be going there live, just like I'm doing on my YouTube and TikTok and Facebook. I've just added it to my list of places. Okay, here we go. So let me just hopefully I did that right. Yes, okay. So this is one brim. Look at this. This is going to be the brim of my bucket hat. It's going to be two different colors. I'm assuming at some point they will connect this way. So it's going to be, we'll see how that all works out. I got one more to connect. You can sew it in and cut it out of the seam allowance. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. I feel like that's going to be easier than trying to spray that glue in, because I don't know, that glue just feels like it's not going to do very well with the buckram. I don't feel like it's going to go well. That's my initial thinking, that it's not going to go well. All right. I'm actually excited about this bucket hat. Now, I owe my son a bucket hat. He asked me for a bucket hat, what feels like 2 years ago now, and I still haven't made him one. And I definitely need to make him one, because he has been patiently waiting for the bucket hat. So this is like my test bucket hat. This is gonna be my test, because I feel like I made one, or maybe it didn't turn out right. So I could keep it in place with hem tape. I think I do have hem tape. I think I do have that. All right, let me sew this on. Yeah, I'm really feeling this pattern. I'm telling you, I'm feeling it. It's got a lot of cute little winter hat, scarf options. All right, one sewn down. Here's the other one. Then I gotta serge this, because this right here is not a joke. It will fray like nobody's business. It's already fraying. Hey Dee, welcome. All right, so now that I have put these pieces together, I am going to, next thing I'm going to do is put my sewing machine away for now. And I'm going to pull out the big serger. Ooh, this thing got to weigh like 10 pounds. For sure. It is heavy. Okay? Super heavy. All right, let me make sure I got my... Okay, there we go. Turn this on. Oops, we'll put that. There we go. This thing, it has suctions at the bottom, because once it's down, it ain't moving. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, so I got that going, and now I'm going to serge all the way around these pieces. Oh yeah, that's looking really good. Particularly the actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna serge this edge too, just to make sure it can hold up. again, I'm just serging these because this fabric it frays a lot. Okay, I could see the difference already. It's crazy how this is already like starting to fray, and I just cut it. Hopefully, again, I'm not serging the whole thing, just around the houndstooth part. Because that's where we're going to have a problem. That's where we're going to have a problem. Oops, let's get this over here. There we go. Oh no, you probably didn't miss it. So this fabric it's a light wool. Well, the houndstooth is a wool, and the black is a flannel. Both of them are very lightweight fabrics. So you can kind of see they're both very lightweight. But for the mask, I don't know if you got to see the mask, but it definitely worked well for the mask. The mask does not have any interfacing in it. Thank goodness. I feel like you would suffocate if it did. Here we go. And now I'm just going to serge this piece. Hopefully my brim will be, hopefully it's not fraying too much. I'm a little nervous because of how much is frayed just in that little bit of time. I cut the same fabric to make the skirt that we made last week. And now I feel like I need to serge it because I cut it and didn't do anything with it. And it's probably fraying like crazy. Just looking at what this is doing. All right, just going to do the inside of this. Oh, you didn't see the mask. Let me show you the mask. So here is the mask that we just made. This is how it fits. So the mask is, again, I put that wool on the outside and the flannel on the inside, and it's using elastic for the loops that go around. I cut this in a size large because it goes based on your head circumference, and my head circumference is 22 and a half. So they have, I think it's a small, medium, large, extra large. Don't quote me on the extra large, but I think that is the other size that is there. But yeah, this is definitely, I can see why you asked about will it be heavy. I mean, this fabric again is really lightweight, but I think once I add this on, again, you have 2 layers in the brim. So it's going to be I think that's going to give it a little bit of weight. Definitely it's going to give a shape for sure, because these pieces are going to be, so the top of the hat is going to be in the black flannel. So it's going to be black on the top. And then the around the brim is going to be, the outside is going to be this houndstooth. So on the inside, I have this gray flannel because I ran out. So I just have to serge this one other piece. So the hat is going to be black and white, black and white, black and white. So I'm excited. I feel like it's going to look really good. I'm just feeling like it's going to look great. So I could probably give it a wire or put some plastic inside the rim if I'm thinking it might be too light. You definitely could. You definitely could. That's a great idea, actually. And you know what? If you maybe you use a thicker, heavier fabric too. Like if you like the wool, maybe you get a thicker wool. Or even a thicker flannel, because flannel comes thicker as well. This flannel is what I had left over from when I made my grandson's Halloween costume. And they definitely had thicker flannel there. I just got a light one. Lightweight. Let's hope it's not too light though, because I would hate for it to be too light. But I feel like the interfacing is going to be the magic trick. It's going to give us exactly what we need, both in shape and in weight. All right. So there we go. That is the outside. And I did do this hat in an extra large because I thought, what if I don't know, what if I get like a wig or a weave or braids or something? I want to be able to fit the hat. So hopefully that's not going to be a mistake on my part, because the extra large is, let me see what the head circumference is for the extra large. 24. Again, my head circumference is 22 and a half. So it is going to be probably a little bit big. So, which is okay. I'm all right with that. But I just want to share. So if, when you see it be tried on, if it is too big, that's why, because I definitely cut an extra large. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, so it is telling me to apply the interfacing to the top of the hat, which is number 5. So we're going to sew for a little, maybe like 30 minutes, just working on this hat, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how quickly it is to put it together. If it's feeling like it's going to go smoothly, we might go ahead and finish it. So they asked me to cut one piece of fabric, one piece of lining, one piece of interfacing. So I made my fabric and my lining the same. So I'm going to sew this on. We're going to see how it goes. I'm going to sew it on, and then I'm going to cut as suggested out of the seam allowance. Oh, Dad, you know what? I need my sewing machine back. This thing feels so light compared to the other sewing machine. Super light. All right, I just realized I didn't ever unplug the other sewing machine. You see, like the colors that I chose for the hat, I could think of a lot that would match with. Yeah, look, well, it matches the, the mask too. But to your point, it could definitely go with other things for sure. Okay, so I've got my interfacing, and I'm going to sew all the way around. Just going to use some clamps to kind of hold it in place. I feel like that's the easiest, especially since I don't know where my hem tape is. I would have to look for it. I do have some, but if you see those bins that are up there, I would have to go through those, and that requires me to pull out the ladder and do probably a little bit more work than I want to do. Okay, so this is good. I've got this kind of spread out. And let me see, what does it tell me to do for seam allowance? Does it say? It says, okay, so they literally have different seam allowances for each part. They say 1/2 inch seam allowance. So that is what we're going to be doing. That is what we're going to be doing, a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So that's 5/8, so this would be 4/8. Go. This is where you need one of those little circular, pieces to help you hold your fabric and stuff in place while you're sewing. Otherwise, you have to go really slow to make sure you don't go outside of the area you want to stitch. So far, so good. I'm halfway done. You said, what do I do with my scraps? So I have really been using a lot of my scraps. I mean, if it's something that I could sew with, I have been keeping them. I got a little bag. Oh, I'll probably put it back in this cabinet. If I could fold it, then I've been keeping it. But if I can't, then I throw it away. I've been throwing it away. Before I organized all this stuff, I had tons and tons and tons of scraps because, of course, I wasn't using my scrap fabric. I was buying a lot of fabric, and that's something that I've definitely cut down on significantly. I mean, I have bought a couple of things recently, over the last, 3-4 months, but I'm definitely have way less than I had before. Way less. All right, I think I'm done. This looks like a pretty good circle, don't you think? That looks pretty good. So now I am going to cut do I think I may go to DC Fractals? You know what? Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go to DC Fractals. I really wanted to go to DC Fractals. So I don't even know how I could emphasize that I really wanted to go. I mean, I was looking forward to it. It was definitely one of the best Fractals that I went to last year. I like the energy, but I have two DC Fractals happens to be sandwiched in between two speaking engagements that I have. One that ends on Friday, and the other one starts on Monday of that weekend. And so I literally have to fly from one place to the other. It will force me to have to come home. Like I would leave there Friday night, come home, try to go to Fractal Saturday, and then I would have to fly back out Sunday so that I can make it to the place I need to be on Monday morning. And I just thought, oh, that's going to stress me out. If I wasn't speaking and I was just attending those conferences, that would be different but I had to be on and popping, and I just was nervous about that. So it's like, but I'm sad about it. I really thought about it, like, because I really do want to go. So if you haven't been, you should definitely go. I think you will love the energy. You will have a great time. I'm going to be so sad as I watch everybody enjoy themselves. So anyway, that was a long answer to say, no, I'm not going to be able to go this year. I'm hoping, I can't wait to hear about Baltimore Fractals. I mean, I usually don't, this is a rare thing. I have only a few weekends that I have to fly from one place to the other. This happens to be one of them. But I'm hoping that the Baltimore Fractals, because I will be going to that one as well. I mean, it's right in my home state, so yeah, but I am sad about it. Every time I think about it, I'm sad. There's this thing where it's almost like everything happens at the same time. At least I don't know if y'all feel that way, but I definitely feel like that happens to me a lot. Because this is like just recently, I just had another thing that overlapped. Two things I really want to do, and I have to make a decision. Like, this is a case where it's like either do one or the other. There's no way to fit them both in. And this is something that I would try to fit both things in, but it's just not, I would kill myself trying to do that. Okay. So I just attached the interfacing, I sewed it on, and I just cut it out of the seam allowance. So let me know how do you think this looks? I think it's going to be okay. I mean, I feel like it looks okay. And this is how it looks from the other side. So I did that, and now it is telling me to, and the hat crown, which is this piece. So it's telling me to also put sew interfacing piece onto piece 6, and is it piece 7? And piece 7. So I'm going to say piece 6, which is this curvy piece. I'm going to do this one last. And let me do piece 7, which is the easier piece, I think. Now, I guess the question that I have is, it had me cutting 2 pieces of interfacing, right? Cut 2 on the fold, yes. So that means I'm putting 1 on the fabric and 1 on the lining. So this is the lining. Let me do the fabric first. And This is the fabric. So the good thing about this is I don't have to worry about the direction of it because none of it's really going to be matching up. It's going to all be like, the hat, the top is black. This part of the hat is got the fabric, the houndstooth, and then the brim, which is going to be underneath. I guess it's going to be on both top and the bottom. So hopefully that is going to not be too bad. Hey, Tydree. You say you love sewing in circles. So I don't know if that's my favorite thing, but it did turn out good. So I do like it. I feel like it turned out good anyway. I like to go fast for me, I guess I should say. Let's see. And when I'm sewing in a circle, I definitely don't feel like I can go fast. So that would be my only downside. Again, I can't go as fast as I would want to go. Tydree, what you been up to? Blue, have you been to DC Frocktails before? Or is this going to be your first time? Well, assuming you're going this time. Okay, I've clipped it all around. Now I'm about to sew this on. Add a 1/2 inch. So this will be much quicker because it's easy to sew in a straight line. Or not a straight line, but almost a straight line. Just woke up from a 3-hour nap. I know that's right. See you, D. You have some recording I have to do. Enjoy your weekend. Yes, see you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. So DC Frocktails 2024 was your first ever. Oh, okay. I'd like to go. So did we meet at DC Frocktails? Blue, did we meet there? Maybe I don't. And do you have another handle? Because I'm not sure I recognize. I have to go and look. Now I'm being nosy. I want to know. All right, see you, D. Hey, Aisha. You say you have to track me, so you're doing a drive-by. Well, thank you for stopping by. Do you see? Look, I had tried this on earlier. I don't know if you see it, but that's the belt. I was telling everybody that we're making this in February on one of the sew-alongs, but I'm making it out of leather. I think I told you all that. The only thing I didn't tell you was I am going to probably do a zipper in the front. I'm going to make another mock one. I got another one cut. I just want to see what I need to do a zipper. Because I feel like the zipper is going to do better than the button, the snap. I have a snap on now. But I feel like the zipper will be better for leather. Um, so yeah, I'm excited about that. Let's see. There was so much going on. TikTok, I just go by Amanda. Okay, now I'm gonna go and look and see. Because I took a ton of pictures. So now I have to go back and look at my pictures. Dang, now I really want to go because now we can really connect for real. If we didn't already. Hey Magali, welcome. So I the original sew along for today was this mask, which is Simplicity 9368. And we made the mask of View B. Here it is. Let me show you. I'm very proud of it. A winter mask to keep us warm. And I cut the hat out too, but that was not part of the sew along. But because the mask went so quickly, I was like, okay, I'm just going to sew for a little bit longer and work on this hat. So I'm actually working on the hat now. What you see me doing is sewing the interfacing on to the actual fabric. So this hat and mask are View B. So I'm really excited about this fabric. If y'all see this fabric, please get it for me or drop me a line. Let me know where it is, because when I tell you I love this fabric, I absolutely love this fabric. I love it, love it, love it. Because houndstooth is one of my favorite plaids, or I think it's a plaid. That's what I've always considered it to be. And I love a black and white. The sizing of it, because sometimes houndstooth, sometimes they can make the pattern too big or too small, and this is like the perfect size. I think that's why I like it so much. It's like the perfect size. Oh yes, hey Lisa. Hey Lisa, so thank you Lisa for stopping by, because look, I almost forgot. So this week I was on the Black Woman Stitch podcast talking about beginner sewists, and that episode has been released. So make sure that you check it out. It was an awesome interview. Thank you so much, Lisa. Oh my goodness, thank you. I'm so glad you came by and said that. Now I have to give myself a reminder to make sure I say that every time I go live, and put something else. I'm gonna link to it too. Dang, thank you. I'm so sad I didn't say that earlier. Yeah, so you definitely want to listen. I just talk about a lot about my journey, but also about why people have to focus on and not forget about the beginner sewist, and why I'm so passionate about the beginner sewist, because I was a beginner sewist. So I just think about all the things that I wanted, needed, that helped me. So yeah, definitely. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can listen to Black Women Stitch. So definitely make sure you listen to it. It is awesome. So we're making good progress. We'll sew for a little bit longer. All right, I'm actually going to cut out the seam allowance. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. All right, making sure I cut this and don't cut my fabric. If anybody knows an easier way to cut this out without cutting it, without cutting your fabric, cut this out of the seam allowance. I guess I could have made them a little bit shorter and just stitched it in, but I feel like that will have its own set of challenges as well. But if anybody has a trick for getting this out, I'm all ears. Because this right here is like slow. And I really want to go a little bit faster, but I don't want to mess my fabric up. Okay, I think I got a little groove now. Yes, you seen this fabric at Joann's? I went back to Joann's and looked for it because I got it from Joann's a while ago. And I bought the last of what they had, but they did not have any more when I went back last week. Yes, I really like this fabric a lot. I might have to check in the Owings Mills one and in the Columbia one. Depending on what the weather is like on Sunday, I might end up making that trip. Because then I'll make me another mask. Okay. All right, that wasn't so bad. I got 3 of the 4 edges cut. Look, so Lisa, if you still on here, see, look, I'm sewing with houndstooth again. I told you, I love it. I have almost as much houndstooth as I have black in my closet. No, that's a lie. I have a lot of black. But I have a lot of houndstooth, and I have different colors. I have another fabric. I got this from Joann's too. It's like a cream and mint green sweater-like houndstooth, and then I have a pink. It's like a rose. That's the color, like a rose color. No, it's not. I want to say rose. It's a pink, but it's not like bright pink. I'm trying to think of what that color is. It's in the pink family. All right, there we go. All right, so this is the, I don't know, maybe that's this part of the hat. I think that's what that is. So we got that. So you think you've seen that? Okay, I read that. I did. I love it, love it, love it. And here I am. And I still have that skirt to make. I still got to make my skirt. I've been holding on because I really want to see if I can find some more fabric so I can sew what I really want to sew instead of what I can sew with the fabric I have. So now I am doing the lining piece. I feel like the hardest part of this, or not hard, but the longest, is sewing all this sewing all of this interfacing on. This is one of those times where spraying it on would be quick, because if I sprayed it on, we'd be done. So I am doing Simplicity 9368, and I'm doing this View B. We made the mask already. I'm doing the hat. And where's my mask? I'm very proud of this mask. Where if I can find it? Oh, here it is. In my lap. So it is fleece. Did I say fleece? Flannel on the inside. A wool on the outside. I just love this mask. I'm telling you. If it wasn't hot in here, I would keep it on. But it is too hot to keep it on. You know what? So that's what I was just saying, Lisa. Like, instead of sewing this, I could definitely glue baste it on. That would be, and I have the spray right here to do that. I have the spray. The only thing is I would have to still go back and cut each piece because I need to, this stuff is crunchy. And you definitely don't want to put it in your seam allowance or you will be having, I think, a lot of bulk. So it's okay. I just need to be patient. What time is it? 2:01. Okay, we're going to wrap it up in probably like 15 minutes or so. So I'm going to do everything I can in that time. Or maybe in a half an hour, 2:30. We'll call it quits. We'll get done what we can. There we go. I feel like we should be able to get a lot done in that time. All right. So here we go. Yes, I love this pattern. I was just saying this pattern, if you have this pattern, you definitely should try to sew it. One, because the patterns are fairly easy, and I would say for the most part quick. I mean, that mask definitely took, it's a 30-minute sew, if that. It took us an hour, and that's because I serged it and took my time and talked to everybody about everything. So yeah, definitely it's a quick sew. And this hat is, I feel like this hat is going to be pretty quick too. It's just because I'm sewing on all of this interfacing. So that is what I think is making it. Take so long. Thank you, Lisa. I'm excited. I feel like it's going to be really good. And actually, as I'm sewing on this interfacing, I'm just saying this to everybody, you really should be sewing it in the seam allowance. So as I'm sewing it at a 1/2 of an inch, I probably should be sewing it at 5/8 of an inch. That way, or yeah, that's right. Yes. So that way it will not be like right on the line, but it'll be okay. I'm not worried about it, but I was just thinking about it. And I literally have, after this, we have 2 more pieces. 2 more pieces to sew interfacing on. All right. Lisa, you working on sewing anything? Anybody working on sewing anything now or this weekend? This is really going smoothly. Very happy with how this is going. I was nervous about sewing on this interfacing, like thinking that it would have like, bumps in it or whatever, but it is going really well. It's going very well. Yes, let me finish it before I say it. Maybe I spoke too quickly. Or maybe not. All right, that went on really well. So this is the piece that I have. I ran out of the black and I ran out of pounds too. So I had to use a piece of gray fabric. So now I'm just cutting out the interfacing. That is what I'm doing. What time is it? Okay. We got 23 minutes. So let's see what we could do in 23 minutes. See how much. We have one more piece to put interfacing on. So I volunteered to lead my sewing group in making one. Yay! Okay. That's awesome. I think you will do that very well. They will like it, and I think that they're definitely going to use it, because let me tell you, we've had some. I think we don't realize how much of a mild winter we've been having until this year, because I was like, we got the snow. I mean, this morning it was like 16 degrees outside when I woke up. It was cold. You said I'll try cutting and taping PDF patterns. I feel like sewing. I used to sew every day. I know, Miss Tata. I definitely know you sew every day. Look, I know you do. And if you're not sewing, we know you're not feeling well. If you're not sewing. Yeah, I definitely feel like this mask is a great. I wish I would have. Now, when we did, easy gifts for the, Christmas, this would have definitely been one. You could have just pushed these out by the dozens really quickly. And it's gender neutral, so everybody can have one. You get a mask, you get a mask, you get a mask. You could do it in all kinds of fabrics. Yeah, this would have definitely been made a great winter gift. Okay, here we go. This piece is officially done. Okay, you can't really see it that well, but it is out of the seam allowance. So this is done. This is done. Put those to the side. Now we only have these pieces, which are piece number 6, which is the hat rim. So we are going to take, now we got to make sure the interfacing goes on the right side. What is it? Yeah, so we're probably going to be able to finish putting the interfacing on these 2 pieces. Then we're going to wrap it up. Then we're going to wrap it up. So I'm just clipping this on. Yeah, this is what I would say. This is probably going to be the most time-consuming part of it, but I imagine that once we do this piece, we'll be able to quickly put the rest together. For sure. If I would have thought about it, I would have made this a separate live, but he said when I cut the interfacing, I always just take out the seam allowance so that way it won't be too hard for me to sew up the fabric. I just made 2 duffel bags, Simplicity 9814, for me and my daughter. Okay. Look, that is a really good, tip for managing this, what do you call it? The interfacing, because I'm going to tell you right now, the only thing I think about when you cut it ahead of time is that you definitely have to be thinking about like making sure it's centered, because if you have it smaller, you got to really make sure, like, I guess you got to pin it. But either you're going to spend time doing that, or, which is probably easier to your point, than spending the extra time I'm doing, clipping it, sewing it. Because if I would have had it smaller, it would have been so much easier just to glue it in with the spray. So this is just taking a little bit longer because, and it looks like my interfacing is not long enough, so I may have to cut me another piece of interfacing. I don't know. Feels like it's not long enough. So I don't know if I have it on wrong or what. Before I take this off, let me just try the other piece. So first things first. Just making sure this is all matched up. Because I did sew 2 pieces together, so it's easy for those pieces to end up longer than what they need it to be. Okay, this is not bad. So it's only a little bit longer. So if my interfacing matches this, then I'm going to go with this interfacing. I'm just matching this up. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going with the size of the interfacing because this is matching up perfectly. So I'm just clipping. What time is it? We got 15 minutes. Okay. I think we're going to finish these in the next 15 minutes. Get these all sewn on. And literally be putting the head together. What time is it? Oh, it's only 9:23. Yeah, I really hope this bucket hat turns out the way that I want it to, because I definitely want to wear it. Like tomorrow seems like a good day, as good of a day as any to wear it, especially because I will be outside of the house tomorrow. My football team is playing, and I'm not going to the game, but I definitely will be watching somewhere other than in my home. So I'm gonna be going out. I might as well be comfortable, right? All right. So the good news is that this interfacing is not too short. It looks like it is pretty much the right size. So this is where I'm not friends with sewing things in a circle, because this is already feeling like it's going to give me a problem. I'm not feeling good about it. The other ones seem to go on really smooth. This is seeming like it's giving me some problems. We'll see. All right. Let's see. Hopefully this is not going to be an issue. But we'll see. I'm going to take my time stitching this on. We got 11 minutes. We'll do what we can do. All right, so now if anybody got any tips for sewing things in a circle, drop it, let me know. I haven't had any problems until I got to this little circle part. Did I cut that? I think I did. All right, so far so good. So far, so good. I think we are making it work. know what might help is to cut some little slits around the curves for the interfacing. That might make it lay. I'm manipulating this thing, and it's going, so let's see what happens. Gotta finish the bottom, and now I'm about to this is going to be the tricky part. Sewn all the way around one edge, and I got to sew around the other. So this is where it's going to get tricky, but let's see. You say you hand base circles first. Yeah, that's probably what I need to be doing because I'm very nervous about this circle. It's a half circle, but I mean, it's going. I'm feeling better about it now that I'm almost done, but definitely it's tricky. You gotta take your time. Gotta take your time for sure. I mean, so far, I think it's going to be okay. What time is it? Okay. I think we're going to be okay. I think we made it. It was just a little tricky, but it is officially on there. It might be a little bit larger than a 1/2 inch seam allowance, but that's okay because the fabric will still be the right size. So I'm just cutting off the excess. So, okay, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I'm not going to cut the seam allowance all the way down to the stitch line just because I know I went lower. And that way it'll give me a little extra room. Let me go this way. It's easier. this, I'm just going to cut it maybe like 1/4 of an inch. And that way, I know it'll be good. Okay, this is actually much better than I thought. I was very nervous about how this was going to be, but I think it's okay. When I went online, I only found one video of this somebody making, well, they didn't even show, they just did a review of this hat and the mask, which I'm surprised because it is fairly easy to do. All right, let me just cut a little bit more of the interfacing. All right, there we go. A little bit more right here. Wow, I must have had a lot of interfacing because I'm cutting off. I cut off all that like 1/4 of an inch, and it's still a lot in some places. All right, let me just cut off this end. And then I'm gonna cut off this other end. I feel like I cut all this and it still doesn't feel like I cut a lot. All right, last little bit. Well, not little, but last side. Yeah, this definitely takes a little bit of time to do, but there are easier ways, like cutting it, and easy is the wrong word. There are faster ways because this is not difficult. It just takes a little bit of time. All right, last little part. All right, there's that, and then I'm gonna cut this off. So this is the brim. One side of it, there are two. This is the brim. And as I mentioned, it's got, because I ran out of fabric, there is this one part that's going to be black. Yeah, I think it's going to be cute. The top part is also going to be black. So if you can imagine, top is going to be black, and then the oh yeah, here's the top. Top is going to be black, and then houndstooth around this part, and then the brim's going to have that little piece of black. I feel like it's a good design. It was unintentional, but I feel like it's turned out to be like a little good design. All right, I'm gonna sew this other little piece on, and then everything will be sewn. I mean, all the interfacing, I should say, will be sewn. I'm excited. I do think it's going to be really cute. I'm excited about how cute I think it is going to be. What time is it? Oh, 2:31. All right, we're going to sew this, and then we're going to call it quits. I may end up hopping back on and finishing it with everyone. Schedule another time to finish it. If I don't feel like doing it tonight, I'm going to see what's all involved. All right. See what's all involved in putting it together. And if it's not a lot to put it together, then I might end up just doing it, but we'll see. Let me see. All right. So I also have my Ravens puffer jacket that I need to finish. I've been really like, oh, I need to finish this. I need to finish it. I've not finished it. And I wanted to finish it before the Super Bowl. I just gotta find the time. Okay, I feel like this is going much faster than the first one I sewed on. I feel like I'm not running into as many challenges, I would say. I'm sewing this regular. I probably should have base stitched this whole thing. Now I'm thinking about it, because part of me feels like I might end up having to take some of these stitches out as I'm putting the hat together. It's okay. If I do, I do, but it's a learning experience, and hopefully I'm learning so you don't have to. I'm making the mistakes so you don't have to. There we go. just doing the inside piece. And as I'm sewing it, one of the things I'm doing is kind of like hand pressing it out. So that way I don't get any, or I'm trying to reduce, I guess, the number of like any wrinkles or anything. I might end up having to press this too, just to make the brim lay the way it's supposed to lay. Coming along really well. Very happy with how this came. Alright, just back stitch. Alright, so this went on very well, much easier than the first one went on. And the only thing I'm doing now is just cutting the fabric out of the seam allowance so I don't have as much bulk. When I sew it, and again, I do think I am going to have to maybe press this to get it all to lay like super flat. So depending on when I attach it to the actual hat itself, is when I'll determine when I need to press it. But I think before it's maybe when the brim comes together, at that point I will be able to press it. So one more stitch cut all the way around just to cut this all this extra interfacing out. I think I made this interfacing much bigger than it needed to be. Either that or maybe from me serging the fabric. That's probably what happened. It's got a little bit shorter because my interfacing is much larger. But yet it matched up to the fabric pretty well. So it makes me feel like hopefully my brim is not really short because that won't look great. I think I like a longer brim. All right, that's done. And then one more side, just the inside. And then I'm just going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do next. Again, if it seems like it's fairly easy, I'll do it and then post some pictures afterwards. Ooh, okay. Again, I'm trying to take my time because I want to make sure I don't cut my fabric. But I'm almost done. just going around this little circle. This thing is not a joke. Okay, here we go. I got a lot of mess to clean up. All right, look at that. That is super done. That's the other side of the brim. Okay, so I got all the pieces interfaced, which again was the longest part. So I'm gonna wrap up the live, but I am gonna tell you like what I'm gonna do. Or I'm just looking at, let me see, how much more of this hat. Okay, so it's only 11 steps. And interfacing was step 1. So that was all step 1. So yeah, the next steps are really just taking the crown piece, which is the top piece, and attaching it to the brim. And then they do want you to kind of press it as you stitch each of the pieces together. And then you're going to put the entire, I'm sorry, you're not. You're doing the hat top to the hat crown. And then you're attaching the brim pieces together. And then once you attach those, you are flipping it right side out. And then you're going to be attaching it to the hat top, or the hat crown, I'm sorry. And then you do have to flip it. So you're going to be, looks like you're going to be flipping it. So all your seams are on the inside. So I'll be waiting to see your post. Thank you, Miss Tata. So I'm going to do the rest of this probably offline, and then I will post a picture of the finished hat with the finished mask, which I'm probably not going to do tonight, because as I'm looking at the steps, I want to make sure I don't make any mistakes. So I'll probably end up doing it maybe on Sunday. I'll do it. And then I'll post some pictures of it. So anyway, thank you all for joining. I look forward to you all joining me again next week. Next Friday, we are doing, let me tell you what we're doing next Friday. Next Friday, we are sewing, what are we sewing? We're sewing, let's see. Live. Next Friday, we are going to be sewing. Ooh, we're doing a dress next Friday. It is a very easy, another, again, beginner-friendly dress. Is probably going to take us an hour to sew this dress. And then we're doing the shrug that goes to that the following week. So we're doing 2 pieces off of the same pattern. It's Simplicity 95. Is that 95? Nope. 93.72. So we're doing view A next week, which is the dress. And then the following week, we're doing view C, which is the shrug that goes over the dress. So I look forward to seeing you all next Friday, where we're going to be making the dress. It's going to be awesome. So I hope that you join and sew along. If not, sew afterwards and tag me in your post. And I will see you all next week. Have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone. Good night, Armina. Thank you, Magali, Helen, Miss Tata. Feel better. I hope you feel better really soon. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and I will see you all next week. Thank you, Marilyn. Bye, everyone.